Your thumb. It goes from here to here. This bigger screen goes from here to here.
Today, we're taking it to the next level.
It is the most beautiful product we have ever made, bar none. And this is iPhone 5.
What's up guys, EverythingApplePro here, and today I want to unbox the iPhone 5, 6 years later. Arguably one of the most perfect setups for an iPhone ever, the most perfect hardware plus the software. This made for one of the best iPhones, I think, the experience ever. iOS 6 was a dream, just how it ran, how smooth it was. I still remember, I have fond memories of using this thing, the skeuomorphic design, just how much depth there is everywhere, the perfect 60 frames per second animations, launching, closing apps. I feel like Apple got a lot of inspiration from this with the iPhone 10, just the smoothness, and it was a dream. So I want to go ahead and unbox it in the best color arguably for an iPhone ever, Slate Black. And this is a sealed example. It was announced on September 12th, 2012 and released on September 21st, 2012. So it sounds a little familiar, right? That's the same schedule for the new iPhone XS. So a lot of similarity here. Let's go ahead and do it. Now I've done my homework. I bought this from a reputable seller. As you guys know, I've been scammed too many times, so I wanted to make sure that it wouldn't happen again. So once again, it seems like it's never been activated. And the listing seems legit. I mean, I've had this thing for a little while, so no chance of returning it if it is a fake, but I'm hoping that won't have to do that. Looks pretty legit with like the plastic sealing, at least I think so. In most cases it does. They do a pretty good job with that. But yeah, let's go ahead and do this. So I did use this iPhone. It had a lot of big advancements coming from the 4S. It had the aluminum shell. It was very, very, very light. Thin, it's like a perfect brick almost. So that's why they kept the design around for so long with the SE, the iPhone 5S, just amazing in every way. This was the first that had the micro SIM, that had the lightning connector coming from the 32 pin. Still had a headphone jack, room in there for that. Oh my gosh, I forget how amazing this design was. Had the 8 megapixel camera, 1.2 on the front, had the top power button here, just like the 4S. And it did launch with iOS 6. So I don't know how many of you guys remember this, but it was amazing, just so great to use. And the screen, of course, did get larger at 4 inches, but the whole thing about it was that your finger could still reach every point of the display. So it's not like getting a bigger screen made the usability any worse. All right, let's go ahead and unbox the best color of the iPhone 5, one that's kind of rare. And this was $400, so this was the only one available for sale. The Slate Black is extremely rare, and I feel like this thing could go up in price a lot. Mostly because this was the last iPhone that Steve Jobs did confer and help design. So it really shows. Okay, here we go. So very, oh man, I'm shaking. Very delicate cuts here. And I want to preserve the plastic as much as possible. It's always satisfying to do this. 6-year-old iPhone finally seeing the light of day. Okay, take that off. Feel the aged packaging here. And here we go. Ooh, looks good. Looks really good. I'm liking what I'm seeing. There's no way this has been resealed. Oh my goodness, that is such a beautiful design. If Apple were to make a murdered out 10S version, like dark like this, that'd be so nice. Well, they do with the space gray, but a really special dark version. I really like that. All right, perfect. This is what I want to see when I unbox an iPhone that hasn't been resealed. Everything is in perfect shape. It looks like it was just packaged yesterday. Check this out. So, ooh, there's like a little pocket back then. It does come with the stickers, 6-year-old Apple stickers. All right, so here's that. And the listing did say that it should have, almost guaranteed, it will have iOS 6 on it. We'll see if it's a old or new version, but I'm guessing iOS 6.0 or something. Anyways, here we go. Zoom in for the plastic packaging. Here we go. Ooh, that sound. Simply remarkable. So flawless shape, beautiful in the back. Now I remember with these, they would rub off, like the color would rub off, and you'd get a lot of the actual aluminum exposed if you really were a hardcore user of this phone. But just the contrast between the glass and the aluminum, it made this such a special design. Perfect, I think, in every way. All right, let's go ahead and boot it up. And let's see after 6 years if it has any juice left on it. Very unlikely, yeah, so that's done. I'm gonna go ahead and have to charge it and be back. All right, so while that's charging, wanted to do a couple highlights on this. The Apple A6 chip is a 32 nanometer chip. Compared to 7 nanometers today, that's a lot of progress. It was a dual core, 1.3 gigahertz, and it had 1 gigabyte of RAM. So performance-wise, this was a huge step up for Apple as well, and it was a lot more capable gaming-wise. So I shall show you with Angry Birds. iOS 6 is pretty limited with what you can install nowadays. I mean, there's a lot of limits on that. But I remember specifically this game, buying this thing and playing Angry Birds. It was so much fun. Literally what owning an iPhone was about back in the day. Such a good time. Speakers were actually really good on this thing too. Like, it was just a phone that was made with pure quality. That's what I really liked about it. Cameras weren't that bad either. You can actually get some decent shots. Well, by today's standards, yeah, kind of sucks. Let me see that. It's 1080p video. It's capable of that. So I guess that was pretty cool. And oh my gosh, I miss iOS 6 so much. I love the lock and unlock sounds. Apple got rid of those. And then the plug in to charge sound was pretty great. At least our iPhones still make that sound, well, a similar sound. But every movie ever has this sound still in it. When the main actor locks their phone, it always has that. When they unlock it, sometimes they throw that in there, or sometimes they mix them up. It's kind of funny. Every time I watch a movie, I notice something. But okay, I'm gonna wait for that one to turn on, and let's go down memory lane with iOS 6 on that one. I wonder what it's running. Probably like 6.1, 6.0 point something. All right, so phone did turn on, and that is the trademark iOS 6 setup menu. Now in iOS 12, Apple doesn't require you to have a SIM card to activate your phone anymore. Back in the day, that was not the case. Well, a couple weeks ago, that was not the case. Okay, oh, it's activated, so done with the computer. This is the old menu, and by the way, you place this on charge. Oh, I love that sound. Skip, skip. Everything was so fluid. It's crazy. These animations are so great. Oh, and Siri, it looks pretty great. Check out Siri. This is the old look. How many of you guys remember that? I remember installing Siri onto old iPhones that it didn't support, like the 3GS, even the original iPhone. Kind of funny. The back swipe didn't exist. I think that came in iOS 7, so that would get annoying pretty fast. And let's see what it's running. iOS 6.1.2, that's a pretty late version. I expected it to be on something new, but I guess this was an older version. All right, so there it is. And wow, this thing ran so well. So this was the first iPhone to get LTE service, and it was pretty capable. It did heat up, and the battery life I think wasn't that great on my Verizon version, but it was an improvement over the iPhone 4S, I believe. So yeah, in every single way, I think this has to be one of my favorite iPhones. The 3G was a favorite design. This was the favorite combination of everything, both design and software. Just, I have such great memories with this thing. High school, iOS 6, trip down memory lane right now. And check this out, guys. Back before Apple was super skimpy with the wallpapers, they actually gave you so many to choose from, including the famous Gene wallpaper that Steve Jobs liked. There was, all the famous ones in here. Just a big contrast from now when Apple removes wallpapers and adds like one maybe a year. I don't understand that logic, but yeah, this was the golden age of wallpapers. And what I believe adds to how iconic this phone is just because it was the last phone that under Steve Jobs, while he was alive, I believe he okayed this project. I don't know if he completely designed it, but I do know that in his autobiography, I read that he did test the Siri features before it went live, and he really did like that. So the fact that phones kept growing larger and larger after he was gone, I'm not sure if he would approve. In fact, none of us are sure if he would approve of anything. I see that online always, Steve Jobs wouldn't approve. Well, you don't really know that. Screen-wise, it was perfect, and I would love if Apple were to release an all-screen design iPhone with the same chassis as this. That would be the ultimate, and I think ultimate iPhone 10 replacement ever. Just size-wise, it's so great. But yeah, now phones are getting huge. The XS Max is just abnormally large. Check this out, next to the size of the iPhone XS Max, that is quite the difference. So this display just barely fits into the corner of it here. Look at that, look at the difference between these monsters. And yeah, Quite the difference from Steve Jobs' philosophy of comfort. But still, guys, this was such a great trip. I loved exploring iOS 6 once again, and just the design of it. I mean, newsstand, if you guys remember that. Apple definitely got rid of this thing. There were so many cool things about it. Back when the app switcher used to look like this, and you would have to hold them and then dismiss them, much like the iPhone 10 on iOS 11. Then if you swiped over, you had music controls here, and then the volume adjustment and Airplay. So very, very advanced for the time, I think. Awesome phone all around. Okay guys, there it is. That's the iPhone 5, and next up will be the iPhone 4S in October when it was released. Very strange date to release it, but I'm looking forward to this one. Although this one isn't that old, you know, it's 6 years old. It has a lasting legacy of being Steve Jobs' last designed phone. So I think that makes it a really, really cool phone in general. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Watch the other ones if you haven't. And one day I'll unbox an original iPhone if I can finally find a decent deal and not a scam. But thanks for watching. Peace.